Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, the Supreme Court of Kenya banned Amnasil Abdullahi, popularly known as the Grand Mullah, from appearing before the Supreme Court. The registrar of the Supreme Court wrote to the Grand Mullah, reminding him of how he has been castigating the Supreme Court, vile ambavyo amekuwa akichafua jina tukufu la Supreme Court, jina ambalo halifai kutajwa ovyo ovyo. And it was a shocker, if you ask me, because nobody saw it coming. Sikuona mimi likija swala kama hili. And it was the full bench of the 7 Supreme Court judges that made that decision. And the reason given is that he cannot continue tainting the judiciary and the Supreme Court, telling Kenyans that the Supreme Court judges are hopelessly corrupt and irredeemably corrupt, and they have been taking bribes, and again using the social media platform and the mainstream media, and then appear in the same judiciary, in the same bench, to get a fair hearing. And Amnasil Abdullahi, the Grand Mullah, himself, or his agent, or his firm, nobody can actually appear before the Supreme Court judge. This was a big blow, if you ask me, to the senior counsel. The senior counsel, who I think is one of the most brilliant guys. According to me, this guy is very, very brilliant. Among the top brains as far as the laws are concerned. And that's why, ukitazama vizuri sana, amewahi kumsimamia Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, William Samoei Ruto, and the guy seems to be very, very knowledgeable. However, he's very, very controversial. That one I agree. And when William Samoei Ruto was declared the president-elect, the Grand Mullah immediately started attacking, criticizing Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And he has continued in that path, including criticizing Raila Amolo Odinga. He has continued unrelentingly. Vile vile amekuwa akikashifu mahakama ya upeo. And now it was time for the Supreme Court to respond. Let me ask you, ladies and gentlemen, do you think this decision by the Supreme Court is ultra vires? That is, do you think it is beyond the Supreme Court to make such a ruling? Do you think the Supreme Court actually overstepped its mandate? Because if you ask me, in the Constitution, there is freedom of expression. But this freedom of expression has some limits, if you ask me, because freedom comes with responsibilities. If this freedom is offending others, if this freedom is affecting the dispensation of justice, then we have a problem. But if you look at the Grand Mullah, I think there is more than meets the eye. Could there be a plan to make the Grand Mullah the Chief Justice? Do you think there's such a plan? Or what could have happened? What could have made the Supreme Court to make such a harsh decision? And do you think the Supreme Court is right? Because this is a very controversial ruling, if you ask me. It's a very controversial move. And if the Supreme Court is genuine enough, let the Supreme Court also do the same to William Samoei Ruto. Let the Supreme Court tell William Samoei Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua that now that you don't trust us, now that you don't trust the bench, stop appealing before us. Seek justice anywhere. Because in a nutshell, what the judiciary was telling Amnasil Abdullahi, wanamwambia kwamba go and look for justice as a blogger. Go and look for justice in the social media. Because all said and done, Amnasil is a blogger, just like me and you and many other people. He's a blogger. And I think there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with this. Because here, people express their minds. But now, when it comes to the Grand Mullah, I think is should be a bit different, kwa sababu ukitazama vizuri sana, as a senior counsel he is a role model. As a senior counsel he's somebody who in fact is a candidate for the bench. He can be a judge, he can be the chief justice, he is qualified. Lakini sasa ukitazama vile ambavyo amekuwa akiongea, a judge is not somebody to just keep on tweeting. Let me ask you, where did you see a judge tweeting? Where did you see a judge on FB, that is Facebook? When do you see a judge on Instagram? Because you really find these people in the social media. Because kulingana ile kazi ambayo wanafanya, ni kazi ambayo wanafaa kuwa angalifu sana. Ni kazi ambayo, no, they should be beyond reproach. They should also be beyond suspicion, like Caesar's wife. Sio kwamba ati unafanya hivi na unaadua hivi. I think it is also important to look at other reasons that could have made the bench to make such a hard decision. The first thing in my view is because is that the war between the judiciary and the executive is becoming hotter and hotter, and Kenyans can only wait for more. So this one, it tells you that the bench or the judiciary is feeling the heat. And according to me, this is good in my view, because in the fullness of time, in the final analysis, Wakenya ndio ambao watafurahia, kwa sababu the Supreme Court or the judiciary in general will be required to be very fair, will be required to follow nothing but the law, nothing but the constitution. So that influenced by the executive, because now it's the executive that has been criticizing the judiciary, then it means they have to be very, very professional. The judges must be very, very professional. So it tells you that they are feeling the heat. The second reason, in my view, it is supposed to send shockwaves in the executive. People like Rigathi Gachagua should be warned. Najua ukiona mwenzako akinyolewa kipake chako maji. And I can tell you that the Supreme Court can declare the government illegal. In fact, they can declare, if somebody goes to court and prove today that the government as currently constituted is illegal, is unconstitutional, that government must be dissolved. That Kenyans must go for elections and the leaders must seek fresh mandate. If you ask me, Parliament as country constituted is unconstitutional. If you read, there's a clause that talk about the 2/3 gender rule, that by such within certain period of time, if that is not achieved, then president must dissolve parliament. And what does it mean by dissolving parliament? If parliament is dissolved, then what does it mean? We don't have a government, because how are we going to have a president? How is he going to pass or how is he going to have something like the approving of the budget? How? Itakuwaje? How is public participation be carried out as far as bills are concerned? It also means that William Ruto should resign. So this is a warning shot. That is a volley, a red volley. And the executive should learn this. Because sasa, vivyo ndivyo ambavyo wanaweza kuonyesha. Again, the judiciary is telling Kenyans, we have teeth. Tuna meno. We have fangs. And we can bite. And once we bite without caring the consequences. So that's the message they are telling Kenyans. That's the message they are telling the people who have been criticizing. We can bite, and we don't fear biting. Again, the judiciary is telling Kenyans that it is ready for war with the executive and the legislature. And I can tell you, in wakati ambapo vita hivi vitatokea, the judiciary is likely to have the last laugh. The judiciary is likely to win. And this is a very strong message. It is a loaded message. And the executive should be very, very much worried because of this kind of ruling. In fact, I think even that bowing by Mother Kome, bowing to the presidency, ati anataka kuongea, I have said that thing should not happen. And the better the more they continue fighting, the more the judiciary continue biting, the better for us. I told you, if you ask me, judiciary should respond ruthlessly to the executive. And the executive should shell down the judiciary. And parliament should come up with rules that are going to tame or put this nation where it's supposed to be. That is my take, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what you think, but if you ask me, the judiciary is asserting itself. Who is going to bring fast? Like this video, it can't be more interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye.